Good morning. Welcome to your favorite channel with your favorite shows. GoAnimate Network. We will be back to Big Mean Sister after this.
Later.
Check out new episodes on new Saturdays, like Big Mean Sister changes into the Jessica Andrews Show.
Bye Jules. Take care. You too, Jess.
Eric Smith.
Okay Eric, this is it. You need to work at the store and make a lot of money. Good luck.
Thank you P-Head and the Avalanchers of Dallas.
Dallas, come here.
No. I still wanna swim.
New Saturdays. Saturdays at March 26th, 2016. Now back to Big Mean Sister on GoAnimate Network. We will be back to Big Mean Sister after this. Happy New Year on GoAnimate Network. GoAnimate Network is celebrating top 5 episode in 2016.
This isn't so hard.
You will see all of your favorite shows during the end of the year.
I'm Oscar. Yay!
GoAnimate Network's New Year's special, starting in January 1st, 2016, on GoAnimate Network. It's time for GoAnimate Network's Valentine's Day, with all of your new favorite shows, like Gumball, Angry Birds 2, Teen Titans Go,
Starfire, will you be my Valentine? Of course.
The Collins Family,
Well, we should be heading out too. Our reservations are at 7.
Right. How hard? We'll be leaving now.
Well, you two have a nice time, and so much more.
And don't forget about love. So romantic.
GoAnimate Network's Valentine's Day, Sundays at February 4th, 2016, on GoAnimate Network. There are these troublemakers who got grounded all the time. Like Kaylu gets grounded.
No! I will not eat my meat's love, peas and mashed potatoes!
Kaylu, we do not yell at the dinner table, and Dora gets grounded.
Dora, I can't believe you littered fruit and got sent to jail. You are grounded once you get out of prison.
The Awful Life of Kaylu and Dora. Saturdays at 7 p.m. on GoAnimate Network.
Freeze. Everybody clap your hands.
Now back to Big Mean Sister on GoAnimate Network. Don't go away, here comes a troublemaker you don't want to miss. The Awful Life of Kaylu is next, on GoAnimate Network. Check out games on our new app, the GoAnimate Network app. Available on the App Store for free.
Message and data rates may apply. You must be 18 years or older or with a parent or guardian.
All your favorite shows.
Why does nothing ever go my way?
We're going to cook something tasty today.
All in one perfect place.
You are grounded for life.
Now we go live.
No, I flooded the house again.
Die.
Who could ask for more? You pooped on me, no. You're watching the GoAnimate Network, where anything is possible.
Don't forget to see a new episode of Brian Rex the Train, tomorrow night at 10/9 Central, only on the GoAnimate Network.
How much is this?
$1.
How much is this?
$1.
How much is this?
$1. This is GoAnimate Network. What a beautiful day in the city.
Eric, no dancing in the house, you are grounded.
I know, Dad. I know. Watch the funny, hilarious and new episodes of The Eric Show. Thursdays at 9 and 8 Central. On GoAnimate Network.
To election 2012, do you have anything to say?
Hey, who laughed?
I think it's the audience.
Maybe the blast came from the moon.
I don't care. Stop talking. That's it. Die. Hi friends, we are about to stop talking and die. No, die. Oops. That was not funny to shoot people.
Obama, how dare you kill the audience and the protester? That's it, you are grounded, grounded. Ha, just kidding.
Oh.
And now, time for the presidents to walk, and let's do the election music again.
Don't know.
The state tends to make man an instrument to serve its arbitrary ends, overlooking his individual purposes. And since man...
That song is terrible.
Stop crying and shut up.
That's it. Gary Johnson is going to jail.
You're under arrest for saying naughty things to the audience.
Mother help me.
Yay, I did it. Time to go on the talk show.
Mr. Obama, you are fired for arresting Gary Johnson. Go home now.
I fired Obama.
Oh my God. You are fired.
Oh, my life is ruined because I'm fired. See you later and good night. Bye. We're done for tonight.
What?
We will be back tomorrow.
Phew. Never mind.